everyone, welcome back to Next Generation. Today's video is a super exciting and long anticipated one, and that is a DIY super inexpensive pond.
Woohoo! Frogs
and fish.
Y'all, I've been wanting a pond probably longer than Jen.
No.
You don't think? How long have you been wanting?
You didn't even want the pond.
If I have like something sitting around in the back that holds water, in like 3 days there's mosquitoes just hovering.
We're gonna get into it in super detail, but there are certain fish that you can get that will eat mosquitoes. So that was my way of talking him into it. If you guys needed any ideas. So my birthday's in a few days. This is my birthday present to myself because I've been wanting it for so long.
And I wasn't gonna get it for her because I don't want mosquitoes.
Usually with all of our DIYs on our channel, when we go to film it is like our first time testing out that DIY. That is not the case with this. Well, we've never built a pond, but we did a ton of research so that we can give you guys the best advice that we possibly could.
So we're gonna nail it or fail it?
We're gonna nail it. And we're always open to more suggestions and advice down below in the comments as usual, so.
This still is our first pond we've ever made though, so just because we did the research
doesn't mean
that we're not gonna run into issues, okay? This is the first one. We have planned it out, but we've planned out a lot of other DIYs and ran into all kind of issues.
We also wanted it to be extremely inexpensive, and any like raised ponds, which already weren't a thing, were hard to find. So this is really a design that we've worked on for a while now, and we're really excited to execute it and see how it comes out. It's definitely going to be unique compared to other pond DIYs that you guys have probably seen.
We did a lot of research and just kind of collaborated all the ideas that we liked into what you're getting ready to see.
Frogs that are around here are really small tree frogs, so our pond isn't going to be huge, but of course you can take this DIY and make it whatever size you would like. This is just an idea on the basics on building a pond and the things that you could put inside of it.
This is a perfect size for our backyard though.
Yes, we don't have a lot of space for it. You guys should build one at home, even if it's really small. They do have container ponds where you can just literally buy a planter and make it into a pond, so
super easy. It
is definitely doable for any size home, any size pond, for any size frog.
This is gonna be so cool. I can't wait. Is this pond gonna be self-sustained? Do we have to keep up with it? Because that's the big reason why I didn't want a pond.
Once you set it up a certain way, then you don't have to upkeep it. So we'll go into all of those details along this video, but just know that it's not something you're gonna have to maintain every week. So as usual, we're first gonna start with everything that you need to build the pond portion of this video. So what we're using, instead of a pond like liner or whatever it's called online, those are really expensive. We found a utility box, which this is basically used like at restaurants, and I think it was like $16.
But it's heavy
on
duty,
Amazon.
thick plastic.
It's super thick. It's a really good quality, and I wanted it in a square shape, and all of the ponds I was finding were in a curve shape, which I did not want.
And we didn't want a lot of big fish, so this is perfect. So guys, I know you're probably thinking like, oh, they're just gonna have this utility box as their pond?
No.
Okay, we're gonna frame this.
It's gonna be all covered in nice plants and things.
You need concrete.
So that's what we're building as our frame and to lift the pond up. How are we gonna build the frame for the concrete, which is what we're gonna get into. And for that, all you're gonna need is a sheet of plywood. So plywood, concrete, and your bucket.
They need oil.
So you definitely will need some oil. I recommend vegetable oil. So that your water is ready for tadpoles, frogs, and fish, you will definitely need to dechlorinate your water. And I feel like the easiest way to do this is this little attachment that you put on your hose, and it'll dechlorinate your water as it's spraying out the hose. So this is what we'll be using to fill up our pond. All right, so now that we've gone over everything that you need to build it, we're gonna go ahead and bring this outside and begin building.
Woo, let's go, let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the wood for the frame.
So we're gonna take measurements of the dimensions of our tub, and depending on what size lip you want for the frame will depend on how much you add to your measurements. Our tub is 17 by 21, so we're gonna add 6 inches to both of those measurements so that we have a 3-inch lip on either end. So 23 by 27, and we want ours to be 3 feet tall, so we're gonna cut 4 pieces of wood to build a box. case you didn't know that there's 4 sides. 2 of them will be 23 inches by 3 feet, and then 2 of them will be 27 inches by 3 feet. And you also want to account for the thickness of the wood that you're using as far as the frame. So the thickness of our wood is 1/2 inch. So you want to add 1 inch to one of the sides. So instead of 27 inches, we're going to do 2 of the sides 28 inches, so that when we add our 2 lips, it'll end up being 27 on the inside. Probably doesn't make sense, but just do it because you need to do it, or it's not gonna work. You will also need a board just to put on the bottom of your frame when you fill it up with concrete, so your concrete's not sitting on the ground. So it doesn't really matter how big this piece is. It could be a lot larger than the size of your frame. So we're gonna go ahead and cut all of that out, and once it's cut out, we can begin building our frame. Aiden, no! What are you doing,
I'm
bro?
being a filmer.
Alright, so now that we've cut our wood, we're going to go ahead and assemble our frame. Remember that we made one 1 inch longer, so where that is going to overlap the sideboards and we're going to screw into the sides. So watch here, this is how you do it. Alright, so once you've built your frame, we're going to go ahead and lather up the inside with oil. No, but really, you need to coat the inside with oil so when you pour your cement, you have no trouble pulling away the wood, and that's why you do it, because
we've had issues with this, so just take our advice.
Yes.
So then we can begin mixing and pouring our concrete, and we're gonna use a mixer for this. Once you have it all mixed up, you can then just pour your concrete into our frame that we've built, and we're gonna fill it all the way up to the top as much as possible. We're actually gonna leave a little bit of space.
As you're pouring your concrete in, you want to try to keep the same consistency of each mix so that you don't end up with these multicolored layers, and you want to also vibrate or tap on your structure as you're pouring. This releases all the air bubbles so that you have a tight, compact concrete structure, which helps with stability.
Yes.
And it helps with the look too, so you don't have all these little air bubbles and holes. You just have this nice smooth surface, which is our goal. A 3-foot structure, never done that before.
So the camera died, but we also oiled the bottom. We just moved this out of the way and oiled it, cleaned it, and put this right back on top. While the concrete is still wet, you can add some stones or gems or mosaics all around the lip of the stand.
And then they hop up.
Guys, we're realizing a problem.
Shoot. So Jen just pointed out, so we're building this thing 3 feet tall, and Jen's like, well, how are they gonna get in?
The frogs, that is.
Because like the frogs that we have seen around here are really small, so 3 feet is like a ridiculous jump. No way it's gonna happen.
We're gonna try to continue this idea.
Alright guys, so we built the structure and we just remembered that we didn't get any rebar, and I think we're okay because with the workbench we only ended up doing it about 2 inches thick, so our tabletops were really thin compared to what we're getting ready to build here.
Guys, we don't have rebar, but maybe you should use it, but we don't have it, so we're not using it. And I'll look like an egghead, so bye. See you later.
Yeah, what she said. Oh,
babe!
Man, are you kidding me?
It's a little watery, I think.
Are you kidding?
That's didn't even make a dent.
Oh, we need so much, 20 bags, yeah.
We're not building this that tall.
Then what do we do now?
We did not realize how much concrete you would need to fill 3 feet tall. So we're just gonna fill it however high we can with however many bags of concrete we have, which I think is like 5.5 bags.
A 3-foot structure, never done that before.
This kind of worked out because like we just popped on here and told you, we're worried about the frogs having to jump up 3 feet anyway, so it kind of worked out. We're gonna go ahead and take our utility bucket and basically just shove it right into the middle of our concrete.
You want to oil the outside of this too, so that you're able to remove it if you ever need to clean, which we hopefully don't have to, but just in case, maybe if you crack this or something, you can replace it without having to redo the entire structure.
Our goal here is for the lip of this bucket to be flush with the concrete, so everything is just
flat, smooth surface. We added this wood here because the concrete is pushing the plastic tub inward. So we're using this to push back against it so we don't have any type of bowing in our plastic when we go to remove it after the concrete sets.
We're gonna put something inside of the bucket that's heavy to hold it down so that it doesn't try to float up while the concrete's drying.
That's right.
We're gonna wait a few days before we can pull this out and continue our DIY because concrete takes a while to dry. All right, so now that it's been about 4 days and we're in our same clothes, we're now gonna take apart the frame, which is the most exciting part. If it still looks a little dark, it's probably still wet, so I would continue to wait a little longer,
Yes.
But you can sand it, you can stain it, paint it, seal it, whatever you want to do for your finish. We're probably just going to leave it as is because I like the natural organic look of the cement.
I like that.
Or concrete. We're probably just going to sand like the top lip so that it's nice and smooth and there's no rough edges there. So we love the pond already. Nothing even in it, not even finished yet, and I'm already obsessed. This is 400 pounds, so let's see how this goes. I can't believe you did that. I really can't. That was stressing me out, kind of. All right, so now that our structure is built and complete, we're now gonna go over all of our fun details on the plants and things we're gonna add on the inside.
All right, so we're gonna add some sort of gravel or rock to the bottom of our pond. This will help keep the bottom of the pond cool as the sun kind of bakes on this when it gets really hot in the day, so.
It'll also make it kind of more of like a natural feel to the pond for our fish and tadpoles and frogs. They'll have like places to hide. Also, this is gonna help for our aquatic plants so that the roots kind of have places to hide and go in the pond and filter our water. So there's lots of different plants that you can add into your pond that's gonna help to filter the water. So there's lots of amazing ones, but guess what? They're illegal in Louisiana for some reason.
How annoying.
And why illegal? All of the really cool ones that we wanted, we cannot have here. So I'll leave a list of those here. I don't even have them in front of me because I was so annoyed that we couldn't buy them.
This is new to us.
So our main purpose for our ponds are to have frogs, and frogs don't like moving water, so we can't have any type of pumps in the water because it can hurt tadpoles. You're probably thinking, so you're gonna have disgusting stagnant water that stinks and attracts all different types of mosquitoes and bugs. No, since we're not gonna have any pumps or filters in our water, we do want to have certain plants that are help filter it, clean it. If you're like us and there's like nowhere around here that sells aquatic plants except Petco, then I would recommend purchasing it on Amazon. They will not let you buy the plants that are illegal to where you live, so we already tried. And then just a few other little tips. So we're gonna add a bunch of plants in ours. Not sure what we're adding because this is gonna be future us adding these plants. So I'm not sure what we ended up getting, but the way we're gonna plant these are you can either put them in a container and put that container into the water. The roots of most of these plants are what filters the water, so we are gonna take our plants out of the container and get a lot of that soil and stuff out since we don't need it, and just stick that into the pond, and then the roots will just go into our gravel and rocks and they will grow like that.
It's awesome.
Since this is a brand new pond and it hasn't sat at all, there's no beneficial bacteria in it. You can add an additive that you can just buy at the store and put that into there. And as far as fish, we are going to get fish that are gonna help out with the mosquito population. So that's all of the tips and advice we have as far as what you add inside of your pond. So we're gonna go ahead and finish putting it together and show you guys the final result.
I'm ready, let's get started.
The new fish, no plants in there yet, but our water's been acclimated for a few days. They said we can get 10 for this size. I love the color against the rock color that we chose.
I do too.
I like this one with the
White
orange and white.
He's just chilling on the
He
bottom.
looks like a baby koi. You like them?
They're so cool.
Look how they all stay in a group. So here is the final result. I am obsessed with how it came out. They're just some little goldfish, which those eat mosquitoes. We have a few of our filtering plants in here, which the fish also eat, and they like to hide behind them. So the way I have everything placed now is just kind of to give you guys some ideas, but this isn't how it's going to stay because I have a few more plants that are coming that I ordered online. And I'm also waiting for my aquatic planters that I ordered from Amazon. I will link all of that down below in case you're interested. But I do want to plant this really pretty pothos inside of the pond so that the fish have some more spots to hide in, as well as the frogs and tadpoles, hopefully. I have this plant here, which is called horsetail reed, and I've heard that it grows like crazy. So I put this here to use kind of like a screen for behind the pond, because when you come into the backyard, this is the angle you see. I have it planted in this concrete planter that I actually made in my DIY concrete DIY ideas, I believe it's called. There is a hole on the bottom in the back so that the water will drain properly. It matches really nicely, and I may end up spray painting the other planters black so that they look nicer as a contrast against the bright colored concrete. So just a few ideas. Also, I've heard that frogs are attracted to this type of fern since it's really dense on the inside, so there's lots of places for them to hide. We're probably gonna end up planting these along these cinder blocks so so that they kind of cascade over into the pond. Also, this is a separate video, but we are adding on to our veggie garden. That is our current setup. I also wanted to show you guys how funny this is. I ordered this lily pad online, and let me show you guys my expectations of what I was gonna receive. And then this is what I actually received. So, interested to see how this ends up growing, but that's another plant that I do need to get a little aquatic planter for, as well as some aquatic media. We also got seashells, forgot to mention that, but these are really cool. Rich found them on the golf course, and they're really big seashells, which are perfect for the fish to hide inside of. Leave any suggestions or tips down below in the comments. We are always open to hearing y'all's suggestions. That's mondo grass in the corner. Not sure if I said that, but I really liked it, and it was like $1. And my cute little Buddha that's laying down, chilling with the fish. These two plants that I already have currently in the pond are from Petco, and I'll also link below the websites that I use to order all the rest of our plants. I'm obsessed with it. Best birthday present ever.
I'm so excited for tadpoles to turn into frogs. That's gonna be so cool.
It's the best process to watch.
Seeing them swim
with
frog
cool.
legs, yeah, that's just like super cool. All right, so that was super fun to make. I hope you guys go out and make one yourself.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see y'all in my next video.
Bye guys. Not a boo-boo. Those people who moved in on the corner with those kids have the loudest kids.
Like, is that necessary?
Like, they're screaming like I need to go run out there and save them from a kidnapper.
I know.
God.